Hello and welcome to Mickeyology, where we take Disney a little too seriously. I'm Rafael. Disney has released so many successful musicals that Disney music is practically its own genre now. Films like Mary Poppins, Aladdin, and Encanto are just as famous for their soundtracks as their stories. However, for every song that makes it into a finished film, there are several that don't. Even songs we now call Disney classics have narrowly escaped ending up on the cutting room floor. Here are 5 great Disney songs that almost didn't make the cut. It was Disney storyman Bill Peet who proposed adapting Rudyard Kipling's The Jungle Book into an animated feature. He took the lead on the project, fleshing out the story, drawing storyboards, and hiring singer-songwriter Terry Gilkyson to write music for the movie. It was Gilkyson who wrote Baloo and Mowgli's jazzy duet, The Bare Necessities. As the film took shape, though, Peet's boss, Walt Disney, decided he didn't like Peet's take on Jungle Book. While Peet wanted the movie to be dark and mysterious, Walt wanted it lighthearted and fun. Animator Floyd Norman recalled that Bill and Walt's disagreements resulted in shouting matches. Bill Peet got so fed up with his boss that he walked out of the studio one day and never returned, leaving The Jungle Book in Walt's hands. Walt dismissed Terry Gilkyson and replaced him with the Sherman Brothers. When they began composing music for the film, however, Walt made a request. He wanted to salvage one song from the old version of the movie, The Bare Necessities. The Shermans thought that was a good idea, and so the song survived, and went on to become a Disney standard. When Walt Disney Studios chairman Jeffrey Katzenberg approached composers Howard Ashman and Alan Menken with the opportunity to write songs for The Little Mermaid, he picked a winning pair. Menken and Ashman had already collaborated on several stage musicals together, and they knew how to write songs that could both please ears and win hearts.
In almost every musical ever written, there's a place, it's usually about the third song of the evening. Sometimes it's the second, sometimes it's the fourth, but it's quite early. And the leading lady usually sits down on something. Sometimes it's a tree stump in Brigadoon, sometimes it's under the pillars of Covent Garden in My Fair Lady, or it's a trash can in Little Shop of Horrors. But the leading lady sits down on something and sings about what she wants in life.
To get the audience to root for Ariel, Howard Ashman wrote the beautiful I Want song, Part of Your World. The song brought actress Jodie Benson to tears the first time she heard it, and it inspired animator Glenn Keane to plead for the chance to animate the scene. However, when Disney screened an early cut of the film for school kids, the song wound up on the chopping block. Jeffrey Katzenberg noticed kids getting fidgety during the number, and he ordered the filmmakers to cut the song. The directors and songwriters were appalled at the order. Howard Ashman even threatened to walk if Katzenberg cut the song. Still, the objections proved futile. It was Glenn Keane who finally persuaded Katzenberg to wait before giving the scene the axe. He argued that it wasn't the song itself that was making the audience restless, it was just that the movie was unfinished and hadn't quite found its rhythm. Katzenberg allowed the filmmakers to finish the sequence, and time proved Keane right. The song made it into the film, and in 2023 it was certified triple platinum. While Part of Your World escaped getting cut by Katzenberg, another song wasn't so lucky. Disney partnered with Jim Henson's company to produce the 1992 film The Muppet Christmas Carol, and Jeffrey Katzenberg gave notes to first-time director Brian Henson on how to improve the film. One suggestion was to cut When Love Is Gone, the sad ballad sung by Scrooge's lover, Belle. Henson later recalled, quote, Jeffrey Katzenberg didn't like ballads, and for one very real reason. Kids don't like them. If I weren't 28, I probably would have not cut it out. He said, look, this is a fantastic movie, but I think it'll be better for the movie in theaters if the song was cut from the theatrical release. So the agreement was, as long as the song goes back in after this initial theatrical release, and from then on the movie has the song in it. Disney honored that agreement. While the song didn't make it into the theatrical cut, it appeared in the home video release. Today, viewers can access 2 versions of the film on Disney+, one with the song and one without. When Disney asked Elton John to write songs for The Lion King, he delivered one of the strongest Disney albums ever written. However, when he showed up to a preview screening of the movie, he discovered the filmmakers had taken one of his songs in a different direction than he intended. Can You Feel the Love Tonight was supposed to be a classic Disney love song, but the filmmakers turned it into a joke, having Timon and Pumbaa sing the entire number.
Elton had written Can You Feel the Love Tonight as kind of a straight-up Disney love song, and we were all, trying to be different. And so we said, let's have Timon and Pumbaa sing as a kind of send-up.
The movie ended, and we turned around and very quietly and with great control, he said, I think you've ruined the movie.
That wasn't the only time Elton had to defend his Lion Love song. In 2024, he revealed to Variety that at one point, someone tried to cut the song out of the movie altogether. Can you guess who?
I did The Lion King, obviously with Disney, and then Jeffrey Katzenberg, who was very involved in the film and was great to work with, as with the whole Disney team, came down to Atlanta and showed me a rough cut of the film, nearly finished film. And there was no Can You Feel the Love Tonight? And Jeffrey, where's Can You Feel the Love Tonight? He said, well, we just couldn't find a place for it. And I said, it's a love song. Every Disney animation film has a great love song. You really ought to reconsider this.
Elton's tenacity paid off, though. Not only did the song become the Disney classic he hoped it would be, but it won an Academy Award in 1995. The first Frozen and its soundtrack were both wildly popular upon release. Let It Go won an Oscar and a Grammy and spent 33 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. So when Disney greenlit a sequel, expectations for the soundtrack were high. Songwriters Kristen-Anderson Lopez and Bobby Lopez satisfied those expectations with songs like Into the Unknown, All Is Found, and Lost in the Woods. However, the movie's climactic number, Show Yourself, was almost cut mere months before the world premiere. As filmmakers worked on Elsa's arrival in Otta Holland, they didn't get the feeling they wanted from the scene. Elsa came in belting her tune as she went into the heart of the glacier. The directors and songwriters agreed that the sequence had to change, so Bobby and Kristen got to work revising and softening the song to capture the emotion filmmakers wanted. At the next meeting, though, the Lopez's were startled to hear the directors say that they wanted to cut the song and replace it with a new number altogether. This led to a tense and delightfully passive-aggressive exchange between directors and songwriters.
What would the song be if she heard the call and she broke through the mist and there was the glacier and she goes, oh, I'm being called home. That's the moment she understands. What I'm emotionally missing is the evolution.
Obviously, there's a piece of us that just worked on this song really hard for the last 24 hours. So,
believe me.
So we don't want to be precious about it. If we know it needs to be I am home, we'll write I am home. If it doesn't, and we just write a boring song like I am home, then it won't.
How do you really feel? How do you really feel?
The song's fate remained uncertain until filmmakers screened the film for employees. Show Yourself resonated with the audience at that screening, proving its worth and earning its place in the final film. The Lopez's did revise the song once again, but the final version of Show Yourself eventually joined the ranks of classic Disney songs. So, there you have it. Those are 5 classic Disney songs that almost weren't. I've been fascinated by the stories of these songs that Disney fans now love, but that almost weren't a part of their movies. If you know of any more songs like this, let me know in the comments. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you would like more Mickeyology content, you can check out patreon.com/Mickeyology, where you can get access to behind-the-scenes videos, monthly exclusives, including videos covering DreamWorks and Marvel films, and you can get early access to all the videos I post here on the channel. As always, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.